We go to the Western Hotline to speak with Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff, who joins us now. Lindy, good morning.
Morning. How we doing, guys?
Not too bad. St. Patrick's Day in Boston. A win, which is always nice, but you're in almost the center of the universe for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I think you're right. There was a lot of green here when we bus from the airport in, and there was a lot of green again yesterday at the game.
Had to be a good feeling to stack wins, and 3 out of 4 now for your team. Have you? Rasmus Dahlin made a comment like feeling like the vibe or something has been figured out. Do you get the sense that something has been different in the last week or so?
Well, we're winning hockey games. So that's the most important thing. I think when you talk about being in tight hockey games, we're finding ways now, instead of losing games, we're finding ways to win games. A real tight game last night, a game where, I thought their goalie made a couple great saves in the third period, and we stayed around and played a real smart game, managed the puck really well. I think those areas we are coming together, where we're trying to stay strong defensively first and then look for an opportunity to win a hockey game.
Did you have to play, or did the team have to play any differently yesterday when you're missing multiple skilled guys in the lineup, and maybe some players, especially, power play, Krebs gets the goal, that some guys maybe would be playing roles that they don't often play?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an opportunity for some guys. I thought the Krebs power play goal, a great play by that unit. They moved the puck around quick. They opened up the hole. A great shot. It's something that I've been encouraging Peyton to do more. Is when you get inside that opportunity, not defer to trying to pass. He got rewarded with a great shot, and then the overtime power play goal. Those guys got on the ice, and Tuck was around the front of the net, and another power play goal for us. So, I think if you looked early in the year, the power play wasn't making a difference. I think last night it made a difference for us, along with a great kill in the first period.
Lindy Ruff with us on the Western Hotline. What about McLeod for that last night? He plays a career high in minutes, almost 24 minutes. And again, circumstance, there were some guys out, but he's been playing a more offensive role, or not even offensive, just more minutes this year with you than he had in Edmonton. And is last night kind of an example of when he's been getting more of a role that he's been producing?
Yeah, I think when, in Edmonton, obviously he's playing behind one of the best players in the game, and I think the opportunity is greater. I think it's been a little bit of an up and down year, but I think this last, 30 games, he's a guy that can skate forever. And obviously I had his brother in New Jersey. He was a great skater. They're similar when it comes to that. And I think he's really wrapped his arms around this opportunity to play more and get involved more. And his play has been real good for us. I actually didn't even look at his minutes. I knew he was fairly high, but when you're first off the bench killing penalties, and then you're elevated to that first power play unit, those guys are typically 20 plus minutes a game, and because he skates so well, he handles those minutes pretty well.
Is he not even first on your list, but one of the first on your list when you get to a 3-on-3 overtime because of skating? Like, how much does skating, just in general, like the determining factor for who you're putting out there in 3-on-3?
It really is. You've got to be able to skate. I think if you look at some of the best opportunities in 3-on-3, it's because somebody outskated somebody. I think if you go back to the Vegas game, the first chance we gave up was because their Vegas guy outskated us up ice. And a lot of times, the other team will try to isolate that you've got two forwards out there. Will try to isolate that one forward that is back defending. And our goal is to try to stay away from that, where don't really want my forward skating backwards because it's not their strong suit. So they got to kind of match speed going forward, and if you can't match speed, then you get yourself in trouble. So I think almost every team, their go-to guys are their fastest guys on the team.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Lindy, there's a power play goal last night. Special teams has been something that's been dogging this team for a lot this season, and to get a couple power play goals actually, that's one spot where I feel like if you're looking big picture, 5-on-5 scoring has been there most of the year, and if it comes down to special teams, things might be different for you. Is that to you maybe a positive sign, but also a place to start to show that the results can be better if that just turns around?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think if you go back to early in the year, there was a lot of games where even late in the game, let's say we got into the last 10 minutes, we've had a power play that could have made a difference, could have scored a goal that either would have tied the game or won the game for us. The disappointing part was we didn't get the job done, and I think there was a lot of cases early on even too where we gave up that shorthanded goal at an inopportune time that hurt us even worse than not scoring. It's something that we work on every day. I think the units have been switching. We've changed our mentality a little bit with our penalty killing. We've worked on that now a lot more. I think if you look at the start of that game, the game could have been different if Boston with the 5-on-4 and then the 5-on-3, gets a goal. Then we're digging ourselves a little bit of hole. So that was a big plus for us. I thought a couple of really big blocks. Penalty killing is a lot about being in shot lanes, being in the right place, getting your stick in the right place at the right time. And I thought, again, our guys did a good job last night with defending those first couple situations. And then, like we said, I think the power play has been a work in process all year, and maybe we're getting some dividends now. But it's an area that every team probably relies on to win a lot of hockey games.
Lindy, last night, Tage takes a hit from Zadorov, and Greenway jumps right in. Saturday, Krebs did that same thing. And we had talked a lot about this with you after the Devils game with the Tage incident a little over a month ago. Do you feel like you've seen some growth in that department since we talked about that with you about a month ago?
For sure. And I think that's maybe a little bit what Raz is talking about, coming together. The instant message, the instant support for a teammate when something like that happens. What Greener did is the response we want to see, and the outcome of that, if we get an extra penalty or whatever happens, we'll kill that off. I think if you look at the Krebs play, I don't think we gave Vegas a shot on goal, and I think that when you're killing off a penalty of emotion, and that's an emotion penalty, it's a penalty for a teammate. A lot of times you kill those off. You don't kill off those lazy stick infractions. And I didn't like, I'll just say this right now, I didn't like the penalties we took. I didn't like the penalty we took to make it 5-on-3. That's not a penalty we can take as a team if we want to win hockey games on the road. The second penalty in the 5-on-4 last night. But the coming together and sticking up for us is something that the growth has been there. It's something that is a must on our hockey club.
What did you think of the Kulik hit, by the way? He does get hit in the head. I don't know if the player jumped or anything or left his feet, but still, it was a head. It was a shot to his head.
Yeah, it was a devastating hit, obviously. I can argue any direction. He's a defenseless player. I think it has to be a little bit like football now, to be honest. I think they've done a great job in the NFL of protecting the receivers, of trying to protect the receivers from headshots. I believe that, the first contact was his head. I think they would argue that, he was kind of bent over. But I think we've got to protect our players better inside the game. And that is just my feeling, that our best players can't go down because you're in a defensive situation and somebody takes advantage of you. So I don't like it. We responded. You have to move on from it.
Lindy, would you support college hockey, his long head, any contact to the head is a 2-minute penalty? Would you support that for the future of the NHL?
I think in some form, I guess that's what I'm talking about, a headshot. That's the same as football now, where, you used to have devastating hits in football where receivers were opened up and we all thought there was unbelievable hits, but we lost too many players. When you can have players that can skate, I look at it this way, they can skate up to, 23 miles an hour. I think our speed indicators last night would have been, our top guy would have been almost 23 miles an hour, and you get a guy going the other direction, you can imagine the damage that can be done on an impact. So in some form, I think that's exactly what we're talking about.
And with that, what you're also talking about, I'm thinking back to your playing days, like you are putting the responsibility of the hit on the hitter, because that's what the NFL does, right? Like, who's responsible? It's the player that is delivering the hit that is responsible for where the contact happens.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly, I think for a while, there was that hit as you came around the net, the forward coming back. After that player, moves the puck, a player would come in and lay a devastating hit on that player that really didn't have eyes on the attacking player. I think that's exactly what we're talking about, that the player that's delivering the hit has to be more responsible for where the contact is. I thought there was a hit later in the game that was really late, too. So I think there's two things there. It's the player delivering it. It's how long after the puck has left the stick that you want to allow these guys to put a hit on an opposing player.
Lindy Ruff with us on the Western Hotline. On Kulik, I don't know if you would have an update on him or Peterka or these other injured players, but are there any update on their statuses?
I do. Peterka had a great day. He argued with me yesterday about playing, which is great, but hadn't skated with the team and felt that didn't want this to be like a one-off, that you jump in the lineup and then you're hurt again with the type of injury he had. So we put him through the paces yesterday after the morning skate. He had an unbelievable morning. He'll be ready for Utah for sure. With Kulik, he's still back in Buffalo. He's in concussion protocol. Doing okay. He'll be exercising again today. If things go well, maybe later in the week he can join us. But we'll just have to wait and see.
And then on Josh Norris, he's been out of a couple games here too. Is there any different treatment for his status, given that injury was a part of his story before the trade? Is he being treated any more conservatively because of that history?
No.
Okay.
No, we're treating him as normal. It was something that he previously dealt with. He's with us. So as he progresses, we hope he skates. So we're just trying to get him back into the right situation and get him back in the lineup.
Lindy, next up, Utah, and it's not a question we can ask all that often, but how does a pre-scout work for a building you've never played in? I mean, the team you could scout, but rinks have their little idiosyncrasies. Is there any sort of look into what Utah might be like?
Yeah, it is interesting. It's funny. I played in Utah in the International League when after my stint in the American League. Interesting. It was an interesting place to go. But you're right about buildings. I mean, when you come to Boston here and you think about ripping a puck around the glass and you got the stanchions that it can hit and the different reactions in different buildings, how the puck reacts off the kickboards, and it'll be a building and we'll get in, practice in, and then probably morning skate to get a good feel for it. But great city to have a hockey team in.
All right. Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Lindy, thanks for the time, and best of luck in Utah.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yep.
Thanks, Lindy.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff joining us on the Western Hotline as we chat every Tuesday morning there.